Hey everyone. So I think the Supreme Court just got its final warning from the executive branch. Okay, from Donald Trump. Okay. Now I'm not going to go into I'm not going to try and quote what was said because I'm gonna mess it up. But basically, Chief Justice Roberts said something, okay, and then Trump has now responded to that, essentially telling him that it's not too late for you to fix this. So I think that, to me, I interpret that as a final warning. Okay, so there's lots of other channels that cover the details of exactly what was said, so you can go find those exact words. Because, like I said, I don't wanna mix up the words. But what I do want to tell you guys is, what does it mean? Because everybody keeps saying, especially on the liberal media channels, they keep saying constitutional crisis and democracy at risk, and keep throwing all these words out there, and that's really not the case. Okay, there's three branches of government. Okay, very simple. No one branch can dominate any other branch, right? They're all co-equal, okay? Unless two of the branches unite against one branch, okay? And it can go any which way, okay? But right now, Trump, okay, and the Congress, right? And Congress, you got both the House and the Senate controlled by Republicans, okay? So Trump has the Congress on his side, okay? So basically, the Democrats, who are in the minority right now, are trying to counter Trump through the judicial system, right? So they're trying to use the judicial system to try and slow Trump down. Okay, so now it doesn't matter that Democrats are behind this. The net result is that the judicial system, which is a single branch of government, is trying to now control the other two branches of government, okay? And they're not going to win, okay? It doesn't matter. They can say contempt. They can say whatever the fuck they want, okay? None of that shit matters because they don't have an army, okay? And the system was intentionally set up this way, okay? The Congress, right, has the power of the purse, right? They're the ones that basically, that the budget goes through, okay? So the Congress can cut off financially the other two branches of government, okay? So that's the Congress's true power, okay? The executive branch basically has the army, okay? That's their power, okay? They're the ones that do the enforcement, right? They're the stick, okay? The way it was meant to more or less work is when the president and the Congress, right, were having a dispute, the judicial branch was going to settle it for them, okay? But at the point where you've got the executive branch and the Congress on the same team, the judicial branch really has nothing useful to contribute, okay? They can pull contempt charges out of their asses. It doesn't mean anything. They can't do anything with it, okay? It just makes them look weak. It just highlights the fact that they're weak, basically. Now, I want to cut in with one key point. Why doesn't the judicial branch have any enforcement powers? Okay, why doesn't it have an army? Okay, so very simple. If the judge has an army, right, he's also basically the king. Okay, because if you have a single branch that can decide what's right and wrong and enforce it, how do you control them? How do you stop it? They would have, unlimited power, basically. They would be a monarch, okay? So that's why the judicial branch doesn't have any enforcement powers. They're essentially intended to be mediators between the legislative branch and the executive branch. I covered this in a prior video. Don't look at the judicial system as good judges and bad judges. Okay, most of the time we're kind of looking at that, like which are the ones that were appointed by Republicans, which were the ones that appointed by Democrats. But in reality, they're all on the same team, right? So Chief Justice Roberts, okay, when he looks at these judges, he sees them all as his children, okay. So he, to him, they're all on his team, okay. So it's kind of like if you got kids, right? Sometimes your kids are bad, sometimes they're fighting with each other, right? You try to, reprimand them if they're acting bad or if they're fighting, but you still love all your kids, right? Even if they're fighting with each other. So Chief Justice Roberts, that's the perspective that I believe that he has when he looks at these lower court justices. So to him, it's not like these are the conservatives, these are the the crazy liberals. No, to him, they're all his kids, and he will he will protect his children, and more importantly, his house, which is the judicial branch, okay, versus the other two branches. Okay, so that's the priority, right? And if you look at all the rulings that have come out of the Supreme Court, right? A lot of times we look at them and we say, okay, hey, this is in favor of conservatives, or this one's in favor of Democrats, all right? But in reality, what's really going on there is the Supreme Court is always trying to protect its position against the other two branches of government. Okay, so for example, I think it was last summer, there was a Chevron case that came out where they basically struck down the Chevron deference, because up until that point, what would happen is these agencies, these executive branch agencies, would come into the courts, and the agencies would say, hey, listen, we're automatically right because we are the government agencies, okay? So Supreme Court struck down Chevron deference, and we all applauded it, right? And we said, hey, that's a big win for us, right? Because now the ATF, EPA, this agency, the FDA, all these different agencies, they don't get deference when we go to court. They actually have to go and prove their position and prove that they are right. They're not automatically assumed to be right. So we look at it and we say, hey, this is a win for us, the people. But that's not how Supreme Court looks at it, right? What the Supreme Court did in the Chevron deference is they took power away from the executive branch and they brought it back into the judicial system, where now the government has to go into the courts and actually have to argue and convince the judge, right, that they are correct. Okay, so that's what the Chevron deference case did. It shifted power from the executive branch over into the judicial branch. Now, it just so happens to also benefit us, okay? But that's an unintended benefit for us, okay? The Supreme Court never intended for us to benefit from it. They were intending to benefit themselves. It was basically it was a power grab. They wanted to take back that power that at some point had been shifted over to the executive branch. So that's how the judicial branch thinks. Okay, that's what's going on in John Roberts' mind right now, Chief Justice John Roberts. Okay, he's trying to protect the power of his branch that he's the head of. Okay, and it's basically a 1 versus 2, right? Trump, executive branch, and Congress are on the same side. Supreme Court can't win, okay? It just can't win. They can issue all sorts of contempt. It doesn't matter. They don't have an army, okay? But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to kind of lay that out there for you guys. But that's how I kind of see things. That's how I'm seeing things. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all soon.